Hello, my name is Moneeo.
Hi, I'm Irene Moneeo.
So, we have bought a Soundtracs JADE, a 30-year-old analog mixing console. And it is in good shape, but it really needs some love.
So we are going to listen to the different channels here today, and we're going to see how it sounds.
If it sounds.
If it sounds.
When we bought the console, we talked to the previous owner and he told us what he had a problem with. So we have a pretty good idea. And we also made a couple of tests in his studio just to verify and see what it's all about. And it's probably what you can expect from a 30-year-old console that hasn't been used in the last 2 years also. So there will be some problems with potentiometers. There will be some crackles. And today we are going to check it out and see how many channels that we need to fix and what we need to fix. So what we know that needs to be fixed is the inputs and some of the pan knobs as well. And we're going to check out all the faders and see what they sound like. And we keep our fingers crossed that it's only the potentiometers that are crackled and not the faders. But we'll see.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
So, let's start.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start to listen to some sound. And we have some on channel 1 up with the master fader. We hear a beautiful 440 Hertz sinus wave. And sinus waves is really good for this kind of tests because you will hear crackles immediately. One thing that we know that we have to fix on this console is this one. This is the monitor control, where we control the sound level in the studio. So we don't have to use the master fader to control the monitors. The master fader can always be at maximum position, which in this console is 0 dB, which is a little bit strange. Normally 0 dB is somewhere around here, but it's full on this one. Okay, but this potentiometer has some crackles, and of some reason we don't hear them at the moment. Yeah, we can hear just slightly. But I know this one is not in good condition, so we will change that anyway. Yeah, because if there will be crackles from the monitor controller, then we don't know if the crackle comes from here or any other place in the console. So to make this a good test, we can't use the monitor controller to try out the other potentiometers, because then we won't know which potentiometer it is that is bad. So I will do a quick change in the patching so that the monitor goes to the master output and bypass this one. Okay, here we have the 440 Hertz. Now we plug in to the line input. So we have the potentiometer here, which is a switch between mic and line. And one thing that's really cool with this preamp section is that you don't find any pad button at all. The reason for that is that they made the range of it so large that you won't need any pad button, which is like most consoles should be, I think. But okay, usually it's these ones that we believe will not be in that good shape. Just try this one. This one seems pretty okay. We can go to the next one, channel 2, because we're sounding on the first 8 channel of the console. We can mute the first one. Here comes channel 2. There's no crackle in the sound, but if we have a look at these 2 meters over here, Now you can see both lines are at 12 o'clock. There's a really big difference in the level there. So we obviously have some calibration to do, but it doesn't seem to be any crackle in these two. And we move over to channel 3. No crackle there either. We're moving to channel 4. This is interesting. We have no sound. We have no level on the input meter. But maybe if we... There it comes. And if we work it a little bit, then we get to a state where it sounds pretty normal. This is a bit strange. It might be because the desk isn't warm enough. We had it on for maybe an hour. If it should have been on many hours, it maybe should have been like this from the beginning. We're not sure. But this is something that we have noticed with more of the gain potentiometers. So number 4 had some crackle. I think we should make some note of that. Okay, we continue to number 5. It feels like it's working as is expected. And we continue with number 6. Here we have some strange things. And it's the same thing there, that it starts with only crackle, and if we just work it and let enough signal pass it, then it's like it's loosen and let everything. At this point it feels okay. After we have done this gymnastic. There it is again. And to me this sounds like this one has some oxide on the last piece of the gain potentiometer, because that's rarely used. So to me that sounds like it's the potentiometer. I mean, there could also be something else further down the line. But we'll start with the potentiometers. We move on to channel 7. Here we have the same thing. And if we gymnast it, it's getting better. Okay, and we do channel 8. Channel 8 has some crackle in the end of the spectrum, but otherwise it's pretty okay. So there we have the 8 first channels. They now sound fine after some gymnastic, but if we have a look at the meters, such a big difference. And I mean, you could work with this one to calibrate it if you would like to start working with the console right away. But that's not the proper way to do it. So at some point we will calibrate this so that they're getting right. And I guess calibrating these is very much about sending 0 dB into the console and just adjusting some trim put inside the channel so that everything lines up at 0 dB. If you have any tip on how to calibrate, please let us know in the comment. I have some ideas, but that's not the academic way of doing things. So we would like to get some tips if you have any. Okay, I think we just fast forward and continue with the rest of the channels and yeah, do it a bit faster. Okay, so now we have checked all the mic and line input gain knobs, and there were some of them that were kind of bad.
Very much crackles in all of them.
Yeah, most of them were ready to be replaced.
Big time.
Yeah. And the mic line gain knob is only one of the two gains on each channel. So now we have to check the tape return gains, and we're also going to check the pan knobs. And what else are we going to check?
We're going to check the large faders and the small faders up here as well.
And yeah, there's also a pan knob here for the small faders. We have two pan knobs, two faders to check out now. We are back at channel 1, and we have tried the first mic inline knob, and now it's time for the tape return gain. And we activate it, put the fader up, get this sinus wave, and we got sound. We can hear the crackles. The first time you push the gain over 50%, there was some crackle, as you heard. Now it's a lot better, but that's not good enough. So we're going to change that one. The next thing we are going to check out, there seems to be a problem with, is the pan pot. Just making pans from left to right. This one seems fine to me. Yeah, great. Okay, so the pan knob is fine. And now we try the long fader and see if we find some crackles there. And it's physically feeling really smooth, and there's no crackle in this at all, which is what we thought from the beginning as well, because all faders seems to be working good. But we'll have a check anyway. Okay, so time for the small faders. Get out of mix mode and into tape mode. And it seems like working just as good as the long fader. And we also have the pan pot for the small fader. And it's no problem at all. So finally, we find a couple of knobs that don't have to be replaced. Woo! Okay, and time for channel 2. Yeah, the same with... Yeah, it's a bit strange. There are some initial cracking the first time you turn the knob, and after you've done it to the max and go back, it's like it's waking up. So this is a bit weird. The small fader on channel 3 seems to have a lot of crackle. But after gymnasting the trim pot, it seems to be fine. Oh, it might be this actually. Ah, yeah. This seems to be the problem on channel 3. The pan pots on the short fader. It's not the fader itself, it's the pan pot. Yeah. I'll make a note about that. Interesting. Okay. Moving on to channel 5. Time for channel 6. Okay, Irene, I think you continue. Channel 7. that one we really want to change. Oh man, this took so much more time than we had ever expected. And yeah, there was a couple of reasons for that. One was that there were actually the wrong connectors at multi-cables, so we had to make a quick adapters and change from channel to channel. And that is something that we are going to solder in the end, but not now. And the other thing that we didn't think of was that we are in the beginning of the Swedish summer, and in this studio room it gets really hot. And by adding the power supply to this console didn't make this any better, which resulted in that the camera, it got super hot and just turned off. So we had to turn them off, take them outside and cool them a bit, because it's in the evening, so it's a little bit colder outside, but yet warm. But, well, here we are. Now we have made a run through the console, and we know a little bit better now what we have to fix first. And as it seems, we will need to change all the gain pots. And that was something that we expected, so that's no surprise. All the faders seems to work fine. There were some issues with small faders, but there seems to be related to the gain knobs. And I mean, it could be something after the gain knobs, maybe. So we'll start by changing gain knobs and see how it's going. We also noted a couple of pan pots, both for the main faders, but also a couple for the small faders. So that is also something that we have taken notes and will change. So now we'll just start to order potentiometers and yeah, a bit of other things. And in the meantime, we are also going to change a couple of batteries inside the console, which is really important to get it right away. And we think this kind of work is actually kind of fun. And if you also think this is kind of fun, please like and subscribe this channel. Write a comment if you have any experience with an old analog console, or if you just want to say hi. And yeah, we keep on working with the console, and we will document everything so that you'll see it here on this channel. And until the next video, take care and see you later. Bye!